Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. I would like to talk about something that happened to me yesterday. An exchange that I had with a random person on Facebook. And I don't think that anything harmful was going to come of it, but it did kind of get me to thinking about something that I really feel like we should all be thinking about right now. And that is the concept of Operation Security, is what we call it in the military, OPSEC. Here's what happened. Yesterday afternoon, I was kind of bored, and I was reading Mark Romano's page. Mark Romano, you might know, has a YouTube channel called The Romano Report. He's also got a presence on a bunch of other social media platforms, to include Facebook. So I was just kind of gazing at his page, and I noticed that he posted this comment, which I will read to you. We either impeach and remove him from office, or we lose our constitutional republic. There are no other options. If you say we cannot impeach and remove him, then the choice has been made. Now, I want to make, first off, a comment about Mark Romano. I actually really enjoy his channel. I find him to be funny and informative a lot of times, but he can also be quite angry, and sometimes I have to bow out of watching his videos or hanging out on his Facebook page because sometimes he gets a little bit defeatist and depressing. He'll say things like, we're licked, or I don't recognize our country anymore. And it comes off as hopeless. And as I've mentioned more than once, I have a problem with depression. Sometimes I get very hopeless. Sometimes I wonder what the point is of living. So I can't, read that kind of stuff on a daily basis, or it will get me, I'll go into a very dark place. So I don't watch all of his videos. I do watch when I'm in the mood and I'm feeling strong, or the topic is going to be funny. Like, for instance, the time he talked about how in Florida they had banned Pornhub. And that was quite funny, because he was like, the MAGA people in Florida going, Pornhub, Fox News. Very, very funny. You probably had to be there, though, so I'm not going to go on about that. But anyway, after I read that status, I left a very flippant comment. And I said, why don't we just remove him, since he doesn't care about the rule of law anyway? He's already been impeached twice, you know. I didn't add this part, but we know that Trump has already been impeached twice, and it didn't work. In fact, it seemed to embolden people. But, I made that comment. It was an offhand, sarcastic comment. And sure enough, someone decided that they needed to take me on. And it was a woman named Natalia. Natalia, total stranger to me. Don't know her. And she asked, how? And I decided to leave a polite, somewhat general comment reminding her that there are many more of us than there are of the billionaires and MAGA cronies. And if we all come together with a common goal, of course he can be defeated, okay? There have been other countries that have had dictators, and they have gotten rid of them. I live in a country that used to have a dictator. Germany, hello. We had here a man that needs no introduction. So they got rid of him, and they have tried to recover. If they can do it, why can't we? That was my point. But this did not satisfy Natalia, and she came back rather hostile and demanded that it's my husband sending me an invitation to Easter brunch. Isn't that nice? She doubled down and demanded that I be more specific. She said, "You haven't offered not one clear plan." And I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of beyond the scope of my initial intent when I made that comment. I certainly wasn't wanting to get into a discussion with a rando about my plans for dispensing with Donald Trump. I'm not a violent person. I'm not a lawless person. I don't have a plan. Frankly, I have been hoping the cheeseburgers do their job, okay? But even if I did have a plan and was inclined to talk about it, this person was really kind of rude and insulting. And I would rather style my pubic hair. What little left is what little I have. I'd rather do that than get into a discussion with this person because she just wasn't very nice. But then, as I was talking to Bill about it, Bill has a master's in cybersecurity. It occurred to me that I don't know her. I don't know anything about her. For all I know, she could be a Putin stooge. She could be a bot. She could be somebody whose job it is to stir up people on the internet and get them exposed so they can be dealt with. We're living in an era where people are being disappeared. They're being deported with no due process. Our leader has talked about deporting people who are legal citizens. So it isn't really a very smart idea, if I did have any kind of a plan like that, to be talking about it on Facebook where anybody can see it. OPSEC, okay? But initially my response to her was that, look, I don't think I can write anything that would satisfy you. And it's a nice day, my husband's at home, and I'd really rather be talking to him. So I'm going to bow out of this interaction. Hope you have a nice day. And I don't remember turning off notifications, but apparently they were turned off because I saw what appeared to be a response from her come up in my notifications, and then it just disappeared. And then when I was talking to Bill, he says, it sounds to me like she was sort of trying to bait you. Maybe try to lead you into saying something. And I went back and decided to just delete the initial comment, which had the effect of deleting all the rest of the replies. And I probably didn't have to do that. Maybe that's a paranoid, overly cautious response. I did go on Natalia's page later, and it appeared to me that she was probably just a frustrated person, because I noticed that she was making similar demands of other people, and some people were engaging her. And I don't think that she is some kind of stooge for Putin or Trump. But you just never know, and you can't be too careful, and it isn't a good idea to discuss any of that kind of thing with a random person on the internet. It just isn't smart. So that's my pearl of wisdom to you today, is to be careful about what you say and post on places like Facebook. And you have to be careful because you never know who's watching. And even if, as I suspect, Natalia was not somebody that was out to do bad things, there are other people that are watching. And a couple of you have even brought it up on my videos and that maybe somebody is watching what I post here. I can't imagine that I would be more viewed than somebody like, say, Mark Romano or Brian Tyler Cohen, or maybe the Mycelis brothers. There's any number of people, Farron Cousins, Adam Mockler, Luke Beasley. These are people that actually post a lot about politics. I have a very small channel, and I kind of like it that way. But you just can't be too careful. So that's my pearl of wisdom to you. So I hope you have a good day. I'm going to sign off, practice guitar, and walk the dogs. Maybe later there'll be a song. We'll see. Ciao.